Hi everyone, welcome back to Economics by Arsha, and in today's video, I'm going to be talking about demand. So, what is demand? Demand is the quantity of goods and services that consumers are willing and able to purchase at a given price and at a given time, ceteris paribus. Ceteris paribus is an economic term meaning all things equal. And economists often state this at the end of such normative sentences to ensure that the reader understands that they're only talking about one factor affecting demand, one factor affecting supply, or any other concept that they're discussing. Now, there is a criteria in order to decide whether a consumer is truly demanding a product. You see, the key lies in the words in the sentence, willing and able. The consumer might have the willingness to purchase a product, but not the ability. They might be willing to purchase a product, but might not have the money, the resources, the time, the skills. They might not be able to purchase the product. Or the consumer might have the ability to purchase the product, but not the willingness. But when the consumer has both the willingness and the ability, it is then considered demand. Now, let's move on to the law of demand. The law of demand is that as the price of a product increases, the quantity demanded for the product usually decreases. Ceteris paribus. Now, note how I've used ceteris paribus at the end of the sentence here and even during the definition. Ceteris paribus is always stated at the end of the sentence. Now, below I have drawn a graph illustrating the demand curve. And the demand curve is actually sloping downwards. Why? Because price and demand have an inverse relationship. Because, as it states here, because the price of the product increases, the demand would decrease. Here it's saying P1, which is the equilibrium price. This is the standard price of a product. But if the price increased to P2, then demand actually drops from Q1 to Q2. Similarly, if price went from P1 to P3, then quantity demanded would actually jump from Q1 to Q3. Now there are some reasons for an increase in demand. The first one being income. If the price of the good falls, the consumer has an increase in their real income. Therefore, they can afford more of the product. Really what this means is that if the price of the product went from P1 to P3, now the price is reduced. So the consumer has the capability of buying a greater number of units of the good for a lower price. So their ability to purchase a greater number of units has increased. And the second one is substitution effect. When the price of a product falls, it becomes more attractive to consumers compared to other goods, and they would substitute this newer, cheaper good with the ones they used to buy previously. What does that mean? Well, let us assume that you're heading over to a supermarket and you're buying your usual brand of butter, Charles butter. But on the same shelf, you notice Jamie's butter, another brand that you don't actually purchase, has had a decrease in price. What this means is that now this decrease in price would actually attract consumers to choose this brand of butter over the ones they would usually purchase. So you end up substituting Jamie's butter for Charlie's butter. Okay. Now, while I was talking, I'm sure you would have noticed that here I've stated demand, but above I've stated quantity demanded. And both cannot be used interchangeably. because they have different meanings entirely. So how would you know if there is a change in quantity demanded or a change in demand? This is a key question in the concept of demand, as this is a question you might come across in your examination. So let me show you how. Here I have two different graphs, one illustrating a change in quantity demanded and another illustrating a change in demand itself. Let's start with quantity demanded. Quantity demanded is a change in quantity demanded. A change in quantity demanded is due to a price factor. And what this means is that an increase or a decrease in price results in an increase or decrease in quantity demanded. But this is only along the curve. So in the previous graph, I had actually discussed the concept of a change in quantity demanded. Because here I was showing as P1 increases to P2, the quantity demanded drops from Q1 to Q2, but this is along the curve, because now there's a change in the quantity of the good demanded. Quantity demanded is only a change due to price, and it's illustrated as a movement along the curve. So this is how you would be able to visualize a change in quantity demanded. And as usual, quantity demanded always assumes ceteris paribus. And what this means is that only price affects a change in quantity demanded, nothing else. Now the next one is demand. A change in demand is actually due to a non-price factor. While quantity demanded is a change due to price factor, demand is due to a non-price factor. And this results in a shift of the entire demand curve, either to the left or to the right. A shift to the right would mean that there's an increase in overall demand. And a shift to the left would mean that there is a decrease in overall demand. Some examples of a non-price determinant of demand would be income, substitute/complementary goods, expectations of future price, etc. And you can see none of these actually deal with the price of the good itself. And as usual, demand assumes ceteris paribus. What this means for a change in demand specifically is that only one of these non-price detriments of demand would be evaluated and justified as a change in demand at once. Now here, for demand, I had actually mentioned an example of a change in demand and not quantity demanded here. As you can see here, I had talked about the substitution effect and how if you were going to the supermarket and you saw a decrease in the price of another brand of butter, you would rather switch to that one. This is not due to the price of the product that you were buying, but it's actually due to a change in the price of the product of another brand of product. And the other brand of product becomes more attractive simply because you can still buy butter, but at a cheaper price. And this is what attracts you to change your demand pattern. Now, a change in demand is actually a change in quantity demanded of the good at every price. So this would actually be here. It's a change of quantity demanded at every price because here the quantity demanded is fixed. But here, as you shift the curve, for example, outward, at the same price, you would now be demanding more of the good. For example, if this was the price, the demand without any changes in demand would be here. But now, if the demand were to shift outward, the quantity demanded, now this at the same price, the quantity demanded has increased. Therefore, this is a change in demand entirely. Now, I hope that when you look at a graph and you see these two different graphs, you're able to tell the difference, that one is a change in demand and one is a change in quantity demanded. Quantity demanded would be along the curve, a shift along the curve, and demand would be a shift of the curve entirely. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope it was informative. In the next video, I'm actually going to be talking about the non-price detriments of demand that affect a change in demand. And I hope that you all do leave a comment for any questions that you have, and I would be happy to answer. And do leave a like and subscribe, and turn on your notifications for when I publish my next video. Thank you so much for watching.